Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Sunday service today. I hope you were able to enjoy a little rest after our busy Obon in August. Now that September is nearing its end already, and it also means Rinban Ito's retirement is coming up next weekend. It is certainly a bittersweet moment for all of us. Next Sunday's schedule is pretty tight and busy, and I doubt I'll have any time to share my contemplation on Rinban's retirement. So today I'd like to dedicate this talk to him. Hopefully I don't cry. As some of you know, Rinban Ito and I are actually distant relatives. I first met him when I was 17 years old. Growing up, I always knew that some of my mom's relatives live in the United States, but I never imagined that one day one of them would be my boss and another my coworker. Life really is full of surprises. We often talk about how precious each of us is and how miraculous it is to encounter with each other in this lifetime. For me, this connection to Rinban and the United States has been such a huge part of my life. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve as a minister, something I might never have considered without this path opening up. It's been almost 10 years since I first came to the US as a high school exchange student. It was the very first time I had ever lived in the foreign country. If I could go back to tell my 16-year-old self that 10 years later I would be standing here as a minister, I don't think she would have believed me. For the longest time in my life, my goal was to study abroad and be independent. So when my college experience came to an end, I felt lost not knowing what I wanted to do next. And knowing that there was a temple in Los Angeles and my connection I've always had with the teaching, I became more interested in becoming a minister. In Japanese, this connection is called en, and in Sanskrit, it is called karma, which I think is also commonly used term in the States too. But when people say karma here, it is used more like bachi, which means punishment in English. If you grew up in a Japanese American household, a lot of you might have been taught this as part of your education at your home. But in Buddhism, the meaning of karma, or en, can be understood more simply as connection. Karma refers to the causes and conditions that make anything happen. Nothing happens on its own. People meet and people work and share human experiences because of countless unseen connections. Rinban's journey as a minister, my own path here, and even us just gathering here today are all the result of causes and conditions that we may not even be aware of. Rinban Ito has often shared in his talks how he decided to follow the ministry path. Interestingly, it was not his father who was serving as Rinban here at that time, but it was his college professor who encouraged him to go study Buddhism in Japan. The professor's words, that simple encouragement, ended up shaping the course of Rinban's entire life. I imagine that push had a huge impact, not only for Rinban, but on all of us who have been guided by his advice. Our forebear, Shinran Shonin, admired 7 masters in his life, whom he wrote about in the Shoshinge. One of them was his direct teacher, Honen Shonin. In the writing of Tanisho, Shinran's words are recorded as follows. I simply take to heart the words of my dear teacher. Just say the Nembutsu and be liberated by Amida, and entrust myself to the primal vow. There is nothing else other than that. Like Shindan, I also have many teachers whom I admire and continue to learn from. While Shindan specifically referred to Honen as my dear teacher, I can name so many. And I don't mean just professors or ministers from whom I received academic lectures, but also my family, Sangha members, friends, and really just people I meet in my daily life. I'm not sure if Rinban Ito had ever thought about being a minister before meeting his college professor, Dr. Franklin Jocelyn. But I do remember that when I was growing up, I didn't always enjoy living in a Buddhist temple. While all my friends had modern homes with hardwood floors and regular doors, my bedroom had tatami mats and shoji sliding doors. I'm not saying that's the only reason I didn't want to be a minister or live in a temple, but that played a little part. On top of that, I wasn't the eldest son in the family, and my parents never pressured any of us to take over the temple. And like Rinban, I too experienced many karmic encounters, or N, that eventually led me to my own encounter with the Dharma. One of the words Shindan used to refer those dear teachers is Zenchishiki, which can be translated as someone who leads us to the Dharma. But a Zenchishiki is not only a formal teacher or minister, but anyone who helps to share the Dharma through their actions or even just by the way they live. But anyone who helps, to me, Rinban has been one of the Zenchishiki. And I am pretty sure I'm not the only person who feels this way. I know some of you have known Rinban for a really long time. And there are also a lot of people who've known him for a long time outside of this temple. Whenever I visit other temples and introduce myself, people often say, "Oh, you're at Nori's temple. We've been good friends for many years." For many of them, Higashi is simply just Nori's temple. They may not attend services here regularly, but they always share good stories about Rinban. That alone shows me how much of a Zenchishiki Rinban has been to so many people. And of course, behind him, there's Janet. She's been such a great support and big pillar at the temple. Her kindness and hospitality is so generous, and without her, a lot of things wouldn't run the way it does now. She knows all the recipes for the otoki we have here, like oden at honko, soba for the year-end service, and ozoni for New Year service. And as some of you know, many of you know, she also helps Lumbini with their lunch program and makes sure all the children are getting a nice meal. And I can name so many other things about that she does besides make cooking, but I'm grateful for. But I could go on for another hour, so if I kept talking. As much as I have enjoyed having Rinban as my guidance and support over the past 2 years, his retirement after 50 years of service as an overseas minister is well deserved. I'm also excited for Rinban and Janet, as they will now have more time to enjoy life together with their friends and family. We always talk about how changes are inevitable in our lives. And while it is sad to see them off, Rinban's guidance and teaching will always remain with us. At the same time, with our new Rinban, Reverend Kawabata, coming in, new opportunities will open for us to learn, to grow, and to build even stronger connection within our Sangha. We have one more week until his retirement and celebration and succession service. So I hope, next Sunday might be a little crazy, so I hope today you get a chance to talk to him before, so you have a little bit more time to interact with him. 2 years is really short time that I spent with him, considering that he served as a minister for 50 years. But I am grateful, and just because Rinban's retiring as Rinban doesn't mean he doesn't show up here ever again. So I am looking forward to have more opportunities to learn from him, and also have a new Rinban, Kawawata, join us. Thank you.